What's up? What's up? Haha. How's everybody doing? It's been a little while. And hold on one second. There we go. It's been a little while. And we are back. I'm excited. It's beautiful out. It's freezing cold, but it's beautiful out. And spring is coming. But something really amazing happened yesterday and is happening right now. And it was actually one of my predictions back in November for a Trump presidency. And I really thought this was going to happen in the first week, but but it happened. That's all that mattered. All right. So what happened? Bam, strategic Bitcoin reserve and US digital asset stockpile. All right. I'm going to put this link down below once this live stream is done so you guys can read through this. Very well written, simplistic kind of rundown of what it means and what it's all about. Okay. So, what is the strategic Bitcoin reserve? Okay. Basically, the United States has 200,000 Bitcoin. All right. So if you look at this chart right here, they are number 9 in the world, right, of known Bitcoin holders, right? Satoshi Nakamoto is number 1, whoever that is, right? But the wallets that we can attach to them. Coinbase, the exchange, is number 2. They have 940,000. Binance, another exchange. Number 3, BlackRock. So this is the BlackRock ETF. So they hold 571,000 Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, I talk about them a lot. They're almost at 500,000. And then iFinex, which is Tether and Bitfinex Exchange, they have 365. Fidelity, Grayscale, 2 ETFs. And the United States government, number 9, with 200,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so where did this Bitcoin come from? Okay, the U.S. did not buy Bitcoin. They didn't go out and buy 200,000 Bitcoin. They seized it. Okay, so when people commit crimes, the government will seize your assets, right? If you're a drug dealer, they seize your car, they seize your house. If you have Bitcoin, they seize it. So 2 big chunks of this, to give you 2 examples. One of the big chunks was from related to this guy right here, Ross Ulbricht, who Trump actually pardoned, which was good. So Ross used to run Silk Road, was an exchange online that like sold all kinds of crazy stuff. He just wrote the code for it. But so there was a hack on Silk Road, and it was like 50,000 Bitcoin that was taken from that hack. So the government confiscated that, right? Because it was used in criminal activity. Another 94,000 came from a hack of an exchange, Bitfinex. Again, government took that from the criminal and held it. So why should the government have a strategic reserve? Why are they doing this, right? Like, why did Trump sign this yesterday? What's so important about it? So typically when the government confiscates assets, they just sell them off, right? Like Germany did that this summer. They had 50,000 Bitcoin that they confiscated and they dumped it on the market for like $50,000 stupidly, but that's what they did. So what we're seeing here is a vibe shift in America. Okay. So the previous administration fought crypto. Okay. They fought the industry. They fought everything about it. They had Operation, Lawfare, all that stuff to stop Choke Point, to stop crypto growing in America. Now let's zoom out for a minute. Okay. The United States is the world leader in 2 things: tech and finance, among many others. Okay. Tech, we have Silicon Valley, the tech center of the world. We have Manhattan, the finance center of the world. Well, what crypto is and Bitcoin is the marriage of tech and finance in the future. So if we're going to fight that, which is inevitable, right? This is going to happen. It's not if, when, it's happening, and it's just going to continue to grow. So the United States is at a crossroads. Okay. We can embrace this industry. We can keep it onshore. We can make the United States dominate the future of tech and finance, where they marry together, just like we've dominated the last 100 years of finance in Manhattan and the last 50 years, 25, 30, 40, 50 years of tech in Silicon Valley, right? So what Trump's doing by establishing a strategic reserve is sending a message to the world like, yo, we're going to dominate crypto. The whole vibe shift is happening. The last administration fought this tooth and nail. We're switching it. We're embracing it. And to show how serious we are, that 200,000 Bitcoin that we've been hanging on to and didn't know what to do with, we think it's so valuable, we're going to hold it forever. And that's what he did yesterday, right? So he made it a reserve asset. Like we have an oil reserve, we have a soybean reserve, a cheese reserve, all these different reserve things. But basically saying we're not selling it. Now he did that through executive order. So in 4 years, next president could obviously undo that executive order. So to make this for real official, we need Congress on board. And there's a lot of support in Congress, and a lot of states are supporting strategic Bitcoin reserves. Texas yesterday got far into the process with their strategic Bitcoin reserve, believe it or not, which because the anti-crypto army of Elizabeth Warren is from Massachusetts. But one good thing our state legislature has done lately is somebody in our legislature put in a bill for a Massachusetts Bitcoin strategic reserve. So it's basically a message to the world saying, hey, look, America's taking this seriously. We know it's valuable. I'm taking the first step as the president. Congress, I think, will back him on this. There's a lot of support in Congress for this. And if it becomes official, then what do we do? I don't know. We're dumping buildings. Maybe they take that money and put it in the reserve, right? We're doing all these different things. So one of the things in his executive order was to not cost the taxpayers any additional money, all right, which I think is slick. And now what it does is it sends the world, rushing now to not get left behind, right? Because the United States has long dominated everything. So if you're some country that has a shot here, and there are some countries that have been stacking Bitcoin, believe it or not, this is your opportunity. And now it creates FOMO and all these nation states start buying. All right. So that was great news last night at like 7, 8 o'clock when it came out. So the market must have went wild, right? It must have went up. Bitcoin must have set an all-time high, right? Actually, it didn't. This is how wild markets are, and I'll explain why. So here's what happened right there. So you see this big red line right here at the end of this blue arrow. That is the candle of when the reserve announcement was made. So Bitcoin, was cruising along at like 90,000, initially shot up and then sold off all the way down to 84. Then it kind of made its way back up. We're sitting at like 87 right now. Okay. Why did it do that? Right. Well, again, short term, Bitcoin's always volatile. Long term, different story. Okay. It was priced in. So, investors, people who trade Bitcoin, everyone knew Trump was going to sign a strategic reserve, right? That was kind of like, I said it in November. It had been talked about. It was a campaign promise. There was a lot of things happening with that. Everybody kind of knew it was going to happen. So they expected that. Everybody kind of figured the 200,000 confiscated Bitcoin would make up the reserve. Check. All right. Everyone knew that, nobody expected him to come out and say, hey, we're going to buy 100,000 Bitcoin a month for the next 24 months. Nobody expected that. He didn't say that. So typically what happens, it's, buy the rumor, sell the news. So that was a perfect example right there. Everybody knew that this was going to happen. It was priced into Bitcoin. As soon as it happened and it was exactly what everyone expected, sells off. I didn't sell any Bitcoin, but it sells off, right? Long term, so bullish though, right? Because this is a green light for Bitcoin's legitimacy. Like what we saw last year with ETFs and TradFi coming in and really embracing it, and now we have the federal government, the president of the United States of America saying, yo, this is legit. Bitcoin's for real. So do whatever you want with that information, not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you things the way I see it and telegraphing what I do, right? So what's going on right now? The crypto summit, right? The first ever crypto summit. And I think this is where, you're going to see, more come out of this, right? This is more policy going forward. The entire cabinet, a lot of people in his administration are very highly involved in the tech industry, in the crypto industry, a lot of Bitcoin holders. It's a whole new world. So while there is a lot of this choppiness, short term, long term, it's very promising. So I'm excited to see what comes out of today. I don't think there's going to be anything groundbreaking today. I think everything's kind of priced in. There's rumors that they may come out with something of like pay your taxes in Bitcoin, no capital gains tax on Bitcoin. That would be great. Imagine what would happen then. But I don't even know that he can do that, right? Comment below. I don't think the president can make that decision. I think Congress has to do that because no tax on tips and all that went into Congress as part of the big, beautiful budget or whatever the heck it was called. So, but regardless, just the fact, like what a shift from October till now, right? Like, and so, when it's like, Dave, why do you care about politics? I care about politics. I post a lot of politics stuff, but it's mainly just to kind of like, there's some people that get kind of triggered by it. And I think it's funny, probably not the best move, but it's all right. But really, why I care about politics is because it affects investments that I make. It affects kind of my plans of the future and how I see things going. I did make a video before the election of how I thought my investments would go, depending on who got elected. So this is huge. Like, you have to pay attention to these things so you understand what's shaping the narrative around what you're investing in. And when you see this chart and you're like, oh my God, it dropped 10,000 an hour, you don't care because you know why, you understand, and you have a long-term view. And that's what I have. All right. So listen, this reserve changes the game. All right. Bitcoin's official. I think you're going to see some crazy things happen in the next few months with countries FOMOing. So the same way you and I FOMO, when we see a chart, we have that fear of missing out, FOMO, and the chart's going up. We're like, oh man, I need to get in, and we're chasing it. Countries are going to do that now, like mind blowing. Okay. So, I don't think it's too late. Again, not financial advice, just telling you what I'm doing, So, all right, I'm very excited, guys. What a day. Some historic, groundbreaking stuff yesterday with Trump signing this reserve, strategic Bitcoin reserve, and digital asset stockpile. The only thing I got to say about that is one last thing, which I should have mentioned in the beginning, but notice the line in the sand there. There's Bitcoin, and then there's all other crypto. And I've said that many times, and I believe that. Bitcoin is its own animal. It serves its own purpose. That's the pristine asset. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. That's the pristine store of value asset. All the other crypto, there's millions, and probably, I don't know how much we have, but we have all these other cryptos that were confiscated in crimes. I think they may put those in the stockpile, and I think it would be hilarious if they market dumped them and then took the cash and bought more Bitcoin for the reserve, because there was some bad stuff that they were promoting on Sunday when he tweeted about this, because he tweeted about it on Sunday and then he signed it yesterday. But regardless, guys, amazing historic thing happened yesterday. And it's just, the future's so bright. All right, guys, enjoy it. Have an amazing weekend. Spring is coming. I can't wait for the weather to change because it is way too cold out there. All right, take it easy, everyone. Talk to you soon.